Joe, Joe, what does a lion eat? What about the grizzlies, Joe? What does a grizzly bear eat?
I don't know.
Oh, Joe. What do you do if a grizzly's gonna come and get you? Oh, what do you do if a black bear's gonna come and get you?
An opportunity's interesting. When you think about success, how rare overnight success is. You hear about it, it happens. And then there's some people that spend their entire lives chasing something. I was thinking about, there's a song by Woods of Ypres called Dirty Window of Opportunity. Great metal band. And I was thinking about luck, overnight success. I think that's what happened with Good Will Hunting. I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck shot that around and it took off almost instantly. And you think of like Sylvester Stallone with Rocky and how long it took him to make that movie. And then I read, it was probably old, I read something that popped up. It was just Bryan Cranston talking about opportunity and success. And he had these bit roles, and of course he did Malcolm in the Middle. He was like, what, almost 50 when he did Breaking Bad? And now he's heralded as one of the greatest actors, and it's one of the greatest TV shows. This all piggybacks off of everything I was talking about. And how wrong my father was at times. Where it's like, he always had trouble staying the course, if you will. Where it's like, you get driven for something. We'll go back to weight loss. It's the new year, you're losing weight, you go, this is great. I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna eat, I'm not gonna smoke, whatever, I'm going to the gym. You go hard for a few months and then you quit. Because you can't keep up with that. No one can. Unless you're like some David Goggins or something and you're doing some 4 a.m., crazy shit. Very few human beings on the planet can keep up with a work ethic like that. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna lose something, something's going to fail. Whether it's your mind, your body, your work life, your social life, your family, your friends, you're gonna sacrifice. You need to sacrifice, but you can't go that hard for something, so you give up. That's how I feel like my dad was. He was just a very driven man, but only in bursts. It's like there was no middle ground in his life. And it was the same thing with his work ethic. He was either doing absolutely nothing and laying around, or he was putting 20-hour work days in, whether it was writing a book or an innovation, it didn't matter. There was no middle ground for that. He was never just tinkering. He was either seriously working on something for, extended hours, or sitting around doing nothing. And I wonder how much progress you lose in that, because I go back to these people that are putting in a body of work like a Bryan Cranston that puts decades of his life into acting. And I don't know much about it, so, he was making some success, of course, he made some money, but he wasn't where he wanted to be. And it's after decades of that, does he finally get to where he needs to be? And he's recognized. It happens to so many people. Anvil, great metal band. Just decades and decades of effort. And they just never stopped. Everybody around them said, just stop. You can't do this. And they're like, you know what? This is all there is. Whether you're trying to write, draw, sing, fight, you just never stop. And depending on how you go about it, it seems that eventually something so far off, you'll get there. It brings me back to opportunity. I've been very fortunate lately. There's nothing concrete, nothing truly has happened, but I do feel like I'm on the path now. I think I spoke about this in a video before. I was like 17 and I wrote a book, and it was terrible, but it was a book, and I was so convinced that I was going to send that off, and that was it. The next Tolkien. There I am, 17 years old. Look at me go. And it's like I couldn't handle the idea of it taking years, even though every story you read from any successful author, it is a tremendous amount of work. And that's anything. Very rarely do you just make it. And those that do it instantly, they crash and burn almost always. They can't handle it. You need to have this slow roll of just taking the punches. But you need, like, there's luck, right? There's luck in achieving success. A lot of successful people, they go, I knew the right guy, right time, right moment, I got lucky. But if you don't have the body of work or the skill put in to capitalize on those lucky moments, you'll never get to where you need to be. I do believe most success is a little bit of luck. Always. Always. Whether it's sports or fighting or it's your favorite band, and someone always has a story and they go, man, I tried for years and this failed, and I just happened to talk to this guy one day and he set me up with this guy, and look at that. But he wouldn't have been in that position. That human being would not have been there had they not been working their entire life on that goal. You keep going back to dreams and purpose and achieving something. And that's kind of where we're at right now with it. Is I've been able to achieve a little bit of that in my own life because of, the writing since I was 17. And you get that little door, someone holds the door open, that's all you need sometimes. There's a small crack and you can see in. And it's like once you get your foot in that door, it's like you never let it go. But you got, you earned a spot, you earned your shot. My dad always spoke about that. He did put effort in. So when those when those lucky opportunities would present themselves, he did have a body of work to fall back on. He made a lot of mistakes and he didn't do it all right. But he was lucky in his life. Luckier than most. In some regards. And he always had a little bit to fall back on where he could get to the next spot. But if you're consistent with whatever you're working on, if it's there, even if you're barely working on it, it's always there. You can't let it go. He did do that. I think after he died, my mom and I, we got a lot of messages of people saying how inspired they were from him, and it made me feel good because it was like he left something behind for other people. And whatever his flaws were, whatever my own personal issues with my father were, whatever other people's issues with him were, maybe he changed one person's life. He changed mine, it seems like for the better in some ways. But it seems like he left something behind. And sometimes when you're striving for something, that's all you need is a little bit of inspiration. And that's what starts you back up, and then you get back on it. And then you might get that lucky break. And you hope that you can just hang on tight. That's what I'm doing right now. We're all trying to get out of it, or you want to call it the trap or the system. It's this needing to work. And I've got nothing against working. Working's great. You need to work hard, but nobody wants to get up and go do these jobs for 8, 9, 10 hours. Some people are working 14 hours out there. And maybe some of you are working those hours and making okay money, but it's a trap because you're not doing what you need to be doing if you're putting all of your time into someone else, whether it's a company or a job or anything. And I still can't get behind the philosophy of I'll just sacrifice 30 or 40 years of my life. So when I'm 60 or 70, maybe I'll finally get that sports car. I'm 32 and all I think about is dying. These probably don't know. It's not like a fear of death. It's just like, shit, man. Like, how much time do I got left? I assume we got a bit left in the tank. I feel pretty good. No significant injuries, no health issues. Probably smoking too many of these, but that is what it is. It just takes time to get to these places, you know. Probably rambling a little bit too much today. I felt a little rambly. I'm just kicking these ideas around, just air them out for the 6 people that'll watch this. But, you know, we got some special things planned for In Search of an Answer. It's been great doing these. I really do appreciate, you know, the 1, 2, 3 likes that are here. Got a comment a little while ago. One of our followers on Instagram posted 2 comments. It's always nice to see people taking an interest in my father, in myself, and the random things I have to say. They're probably not the deepest things. You could find someone smarter somewhere else, but definitely appreciate being able to just air some thoughts like this. Hear my lovely dog going crazy. He wants me to go back in. This is an early one today. It's getting cold. It's getting colder. You're going to start to see the seasons change in the background. We'll see how long we can do these for. Soon it's going to be all snow. I'll have to light a fire. I'll be freezing my hands off, but we'll see what we can do.